A Kenyan cabinet minister said his son's abduction during last year's anti-government protests was carried out by the National Intelligence Service and that his son was released after President William Ruto personally intervened. Minister of Public Service Justin Muturi's allegation, made in an official written statement to the police on Tuesday, is the first direct information to indicate Ruto was made aware of who was behind at least some of the alleged abductions of dozens of anti-government activists that began last June. In his statement to the police's Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Muturi described driving to the presidential residence on June 23, 2024, to see Ruto after his son, Leslie, was taken by armed, hooded gangsters. Muturi said Ruto then called National Intelligence Service, NIS, Director General Noordin Haji, to order his son's release. Muturi confirmed to Reuters the authenticity of the statement after it had been circulating on social media, and said he had been invited by the directorate to make it. Ruto's office and Haji did not respond to requests for comment. The NIS, Kenya's domestic and foreign intelligence agency, has no official contact details or spokesperson. In public statements since June, Ruto had expressed concern about allegations by human rights groups of abductions by state agents, in which unidentified individuals have detained people and held them for days without charge in undisclosed locations. He had said he had no knowledge of who might be responsible. In a December 31 speech, however, he acknowledged instances of excessive and extrajudicial actions by members of the security services. Sylvanus Osoro Onyego, the majority whip in parliament from Ruto's party, dismissed Muturi's allegations. He said on Tuesday Muturi's son had not been abducted in connection with the protests but was arrested in a bar with substances for smoking. "You have three options," he said, addressing Muturi. "First, resign. Second, apologize. And the third one is we impeach you. You cannot serve the government of Kenya that you criticize every day." President phone call. Young Kenyans led weeks of protests in June and July against proposed tax hikes and alleged corruption, forcing Ruto to scrap the tax legislation. More than 60 people were killed in the so-called Gen Z protests, according to a government-funded rights body. Several activists involved in the protests have described being taken by unidentified armed men who questioned them about who was financing and organizing the demonstrations. The police told Reuters late last year that formal complaints would be investigated by the Independent Policing Oversight Authority watchdog, which investigates cases of police brutality. Muturi was serving as the Attorney General at the time of his son's abduction. He said in his police statement that his son's wife called him at 9:29 p.m. on June 22 to inform him that Leslie had been kidnapped in the capital Nairobi. Muturi called senior police officials, who said they were not aware of the matter, before being told by a friend at the NIS that the service was holding Leslie, his statement said. He said he tried unsuccessfully to reach Haji over the phone. The next day, Muturi said, he drove to Ruto's official residence to inform him about the situation. The president joked, asking why anyone would want to arrest a young person over the Gen Z demonstrations, Muturi said, adding Ruto mentioned that other senior politicians' children had also participated in the protests. Muturi said he then asked Ruto to call Haji directly. Standing outside the pavilion, I heard the president ask Noordin Haji if he was holding my son. Noordin confirmed that indeed he was holding my son and the president instructed him to release Leslie immediately. Noordin responded that Leslie would be released within an hour, he said. It was not immediately clear how he heard both sides of the conversation. 3 Kenyan police officers and a Human Rights Watch researcher have told Reuters that some of the alleged abductions are linked to a low-profile unit of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. In a news conference on June 26, Kenya's then-Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua had also blamed the NIS for Leslie Muturi's abduction without providing evidence. Gachagua was impeached and removed from office by Parliament in October on charges of undermining national cohesion and the independence of judges in other cases he had cited.